Welcome back to Producer's Toolbox. All you creatives out there, this is where to come for information, access, and encouragement. So we are hoping you're going to pick up some excellent tips. And today we have a very cool presentation. And I would say that this probably goes for all 50 states. But America has a wonderful phenomena called public access television stations and radio stations, and also community television and radio stations. This is a place where you can let your creativity go wild within reason, but you can also do it with professional grade equipment. You can learn how to handle it. You can learn to shoot, direct, edit, act. So all you actors, wannabe directors, producers, writers, this is the place where we're going to give you the tools you need to the next level. So today we are going to introduce you to PhillyCAM, which is Philadelphia's large, wonderful public access television and radio station. And we have Gabe Castro, a colleague and friend who knows how to handle every corner of the facility, and she is actually going to give us a little bit of a walking tour. But what I want you to know is you may have aspired to shoot fabulous footage. You may want to edit. You may want to create and produce programming. And this is the kind of place where you can do that with instruction, with professional level gear, and get it broadcast. So it's an amazing, amazing facility. I urge you, if you're in Philadelphia, check out PhillyCAM. If you're anywhere else, Google what the community or public access television and radio stations are in your area, because that's where you're going to give your creativity free rein. So let's meet Gabe Castro. Gabe is the member programming manager at PhillyCAM. She knows how the whole place works, and that's not the only hat she wears. Gabe also teaches the production planning course, which I took when I first found PhillyCAM, and she is a producer in her own right. They just aired, you just passed the 300 episode mark of your program, The Ghouls Next Door, where they review horror/comedy films. Gabe's working on her own 5th short format film having to do with grief and where its intersection with humor is. And Gabe is going to show us the actual facility. So as she takes us through, well, first I want you to tell us a little bit about PhillyCAM, what it does, and how to access it. Thanks, Gabe.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carol. It's a pleasure to chat with you and share the amazing resource that PhillyCAM is. As you mentioned, I'm the member programming manager. And so what I like to say is I help our members from concept to submission. So as soon as someone has an idea of what they want to do or what they want to learn, I kind of help facilitate that process through PhillyCAM all the way through to when they're ready to submit it to our television station. And as you mentioned, like, we are public access TV and radio. So we have both a TV and radio station. If you are local to Philadelphia, you can watch us as a cable subscriber. If you have Verizon, it's $29 and $30. If you have Comcast, it's $66 or $9.66. But if you're not in the direct Philly area, you can always tune in on our website at phillycam.org/watch. We're also available through Apple TV and Roku TV devices. You can find us as a channel there as well. So we're accessible everywhere. And so anyone in Philadelphia and generally the tri-state area can join PhillyCAM, become a member. And here you learn how to create content that matters to you. As a public access station, right? We operate under freedom of speech. People come here and they create whatever it is that they want, whether that's a talk show, a comedy film, a game show, whatever it is that, they desire, they can create. And there's no one telling them yes, no, we like that, we don't like that. If you want to make it, we want you to make it. Right? So anyone can come here to PhillyCAM. You can take different workshops to learn how to use our equipment or our studios. And then you create your content and it goes onto the TV. And then we also have a radio station. So if you have audio programs, they can go there as well. I am definitely happy to give a tour and show off our amazing facilities. Currently, I am sat in our Express studio, which is our smaller studio. It's one of the ones you see when you first come into PhillyCAM. It is called Express Studio because the idea is that you would do what we call live to tape, where you come in and you're recording your program as if you were live on air. You're not, so it's okay if you make a mistake and you need to edit it later, you like flub a name, or you're like, oh, take that back, that was the wrong word. You can absolutely do that. But the equipment that we have in this studio allows you to upload videos if you need it. So if you have an intro video or your credits, any graphics, so your lower third, so your little name tag that comes up, or if you have reference materials, like those things can be uploaded. So essentially you could be having a conversation in this room, talking to your guest. We have 3 cameras, and so they would cut between those different cameras. You could put up your images and kind of go through the show as if you were live in your talk show era, right? And then at the end, you would hopefully have something that doesn't need a lot of editing. And so that makes things really streamlined. And that's why it is the Express Studio. We can kind of start a little bit of that tour here. So you can see I'm sat and we have these lovely windows that see out into 7th Street, which is where we're located. So people walk by, it is double pane, so they don't see us, but we see them, which is sometimes lovely, sometimes a little, a little sus, right? You take your gamble. But we do also have other options. We have curtains. We have things that we put up in the windows. These lights that are around the windows as well, we can change the color of and kind of make it your own space. Also, let me know if I go too fast, if you have any questions. So right now, it is kind of dismantled. We're in the process of getting it set up for another show. But essentially what we do is we'll have like 3 or 4 chairs around this table for like a video podcast setting with these microphones that are set up in here as well. That's not like required. Some folks will take the table out completely, have like a couch, have a whole area in here, make it their own. Generally it's talk shows in here, but I have seen once we had a quartet of saxophone players for a show called Bringing Saxy Back. They were playing in here and it was amazing. So literally anything. And then, as I said, we have our cameras, they're all around, and then our computers in here. One of the biggest things about PhillyCAM to note is because we're a community center, all of the programs that are being created in collaboration with other members or people, right? If you are the host of a program and you're sitting here, you cannot also be at this computer pushing the buttons to create your program. So instead, you would link up with a fellow member to direct your show as you're the host. And oftentimes what happens is we see a lot of bartering here at PhillyCAM. So someone would take the training and learn how to use it. And even if they intend to be the host, they would then, find another member who probably wants to be the host of their show and say, hey, I'll direct yours if you direct mine. And that's the exchange instead of having to like pay someone for it. Usually it is just like, we want to build their skills or we believe in your program and we want to support that. So that is our Express Studio. Do you have any questions, Carol?
I do. I wanted to point out that there's a wide range of people who are the members of PhillyCAM. You can be 10 years old, you can be 85 years old. And it's a place where people learn how really to handle cameras, to do lighting, to record sound. And so you can amass those skills and get good with them, make your own demo reel and apply to NFL films.
Absolutely. Yeah. I have always said, firstly, like PhillyCAM is one of the most diverse production spaces that you'll ever see. When I first got involved as like an intern way back in 2015, it's been a long time. Those like classes that I took, the productions that I was a part of, I was like, I have never seen such a diverse like range of crew in one space. And it's such a wonderful place for that, because then you're learning from each other, not just like technical skills, but also just like different lives that like you might not have interacted with in other spaces. And so it really builds up your network, it builds up your experience and your ideas and your community as well. So literally everyone and anyone in Philadelphia can become a member. And so that's reflected in the kinds of work that we see and the way that it is created, kind of like as you're building that crew, you're going to be seeing all different kinds of people who are supporting you.
That is one of the nicest things about it, is the people that you meet. At the last meeting, I met a woman from Argentina who is learning how to be a camera person.
Yes.
You really, it's an amazing and varied group of people, all ages, different countries. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We have our youth program that happens kind of seasonally, and then some of them kind of stay on through like the school year and things like that. And that's generally ages 14 to 18. And then throughout the summer, we'll have special programs for people who are younger, sometimes 8, 10, you know, for like a one-off class. They did a Lego stop motion class last year that was really fun. And so we had like a bunch of little 8-year-olds running around making really cool like stop motion films. And then we have our youth program that does really amazing work. They've had their films shown in the Smithsonian. They've won awards. They learn really interesting tools and mechanics that even I'm jealous of. Sometimes I'm like, can I just sit in and learn? But it's a really great space for like young people who want to learn alongside their peers and develop those skills early. Like we have seen like our youth members who started really young, who are now in college or have these jobs in the field, and they come back and like support the youth program moving forward. And it's such a like bittersweet, like we're sorry to see you go, but we're so happy that like you can, you know?
So this is the Express Studio. This is not, there is more to come. As Gabe goes through, I want you to picture yourself in some of these spaces, handling some of this amazing gear and getting support from people with even more experience who are inviting you in. So picture yourself.
So you can see Express Studio. It's pretty cool. We got like people can see what's going on in the studio there. This is our commons area, which is where people first come into PhillyCAM. You can always see what's on TV right now. This is like a really cool radio show. It's like live bands in the main studio called People Power Sounds. It's really quite rad. And then there's areas here where folks meet up, connect to each other. We recently we had like a big desk here, but now it's a community area where people can come chat, hang out, get to know each other. But what I want to show folks is actually our equipment office. It's a little messy right now. But so we have studios, but we also have field equipment available for members. And essentially how that works is how all of access to our equipment works is folks take a workshop, right? That could be an on-demand, like one-on-one class. It could be a 6-week course where you're coming in once a week, generally in the evenings, and you're learning hands-on how to operate that equipment. After you've taken those workshops, you get certified. And what those certifications do is just tell PhillyCAM that we can trust you with the equipment, that when you go out, you know where the record button is, and that you feel confident that you know what you're going to do. I think the biggest thing to know about PhillyCAM is that we are reservation based. We're not a rental house. So people are not charged to use our equipment or studios. Once you take that class and you are certified, what happens is the exchange is when you take out equipment, you're giving us a copy of your program. Now, the program is yours. You have all the rights and clearances. We have no ownership of it. We just get a copy and we put it on TV, and that's really cool, right? But you're not paying us every time to use the equipment in studio. Instead, you're working towards something. Yes, Carol.
Yeah. Gabe, can you tell us a little bit about the types of equipment that are available for members to use?
Mm-hmm. So we have, for our field equipment, we have kind of like 3 layers of of like levels, I guess. So our basic one, we call it basic field, is a Sony XD cam. It's a really great like cinema camera. And the purpose of those would be you pick it up, you go out on location somewhere, whether that's a protest, your church, interviewing someone in their home or in their place of work, etc. Right? You would take the basic field class, which teaches you the camera, the tripod, the lighting kits, the microphones. Then you can take those out. You have about a week to use the equipment, film the things that you need, and then return them. So that's our basic class. After you've established like you're really well versed in the XD cam and you've probably created some content, you can go to our advanced camera workshop, which is our Sony A7s, a higher end like cinema camera that we use for certain like PhillyCAM productions. But that's like, you don't have to, right? It is just an option to like, elevate your production game. And then we have another camera that's kind of like off to the side that we call our grab and go. It is a Canon M50, I believe, and the design of it is to grab and go. So the camera, microphones, like a little light or a little shotgun mic or something would be in the camera bag. And that's it, right? There's no like bells and whistles or any like a bunch of equipment that you'd have to lug around. Instead, you would just come in, grab that bag, and then go out. And that's a really great thing for like vlogging, like short form content, or if you were to catch like people on the street interviews or a protest or demonstration that's happening, you grab it and you go. And that one would be a one-on-one training. But essentially like the equipment office, which is like this like cage here, is where you would pick up and drop off that equipment, and is also where generally we have tech staff in here. Today we're closed for reservations, so there's no one in there. But usually there's a very friendly face, very eager to help you and grab what you need. And just on that note, I don't know if you can see it up here, but PhillyCAM, we're open throughout the week, but for equipment pick up and drop off, as well as for our studios, are open on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 8 p.m. and then Saturdays from 10 to 6:30. So those are when we're open for people to come in and use our stuff. All right, let's move. Do you have any questions while I move over to the big one? Actually, these are just some really amazing like portraits of some of our members. And if you come, we do have these QR codes at the bottom so you can hear their story, which is why I'm doing this is like my favorite pictures over here. But you can see like our membership. Behind me is our lovely intern and co-op program, and they are getting ready to produce a show called From Every Angle, where they're producing short films or news reports or things like that to practice and build up those skills. And so this is our main studio, which comes in 2 parts. We have our control room, which is here. And that is where, essentially in the Express Studio, where we saw that one computer that was managing, all the moving parts. The control room is a much bigger room to do that, where we have, your technical director who's pushing the button with Sergio there. We have our audio person. We have a teleprompter. We have your director who could be telling your technical director what to do, those kinds of things that's happening in the control room. We're going to pass them because they're getting ready. Hi, everyone. Okay. And then all of those controls lead us to the main studio. Right now they're setting up to get lighting for our green screen. It is not always green screened. It is an option. What's really great about our main studio is that it's set up that if you do green screen, our computer system allows for live sets. So you can make it look like you're in a really fancy newsroom or reporting live from a stadium. Right now they're cycling through some really silly pictures to get their background that they want. But that's an option, but you can also just have the curtains. We have the blank wall that happens behind there. You can set this up in any way that you'd like. One of the uses for the main studio is we have a cooking show called Chef Trek Adventures, and he'll use a green screen, not this one, but a form of it to make it look like he's in a kitchen. But he also has a live audience, a live band that hangs out over there, and he'll have puppets. So he'll be interacting with all of these elements throughout his show. And it looks like he's in a kitchen, and then it cuts over to the live band or it cuts over to the puppets. And it does that like effortlessly in this space. So literally the sky's the limit with your ideas. But this space we have 3 cameras. So you'd have like camera operators. You might possibly have to have like a floor manager to communicate with you since the director is so far away, things like that. With the main studio, there's a few ways to get access to it. If you want to be a technical director and actually like push the buttons and do and operate the equipment, you would take our fellowship class to learn how to do that. The first step for that would be taking our crew boot camp, which is where you learn on like, it's a few hours on a Saturday crash course. How do you operate the cameras? How do you plug in the microphones? What does the audio board do, right? Then you can go to our fellowship to learn how to manage the computer. If you want to be a producer in here and not be the person pushing the buttons, then generally we encourage folks to take my class, production planning, so they can figure out like, what do I need to produce a show in this space? Like what kind of crew? What forms do I need? Do I need a script? What kind of information do I need to share with my crew so that they feel confident that they know what is happening when, and I can feel confident that when I'm in this space, things are being taken care of and that my vision is coming to life. The other option for this, and then over to you, Carol, is you can reserve the space and just use the space and like bring in your own equipment. We do have folks who do that as well.
Gabe, there's such an intricate lighting grid on the ceiling of the main studio. Can you give us, there you go, a look at that and tell us a little about it?
Yeah, so the lighting grid, I have like the board here. So members who take the workshop to become the technical directors will learn our lighting grid, and a part of like you developing your plan in this space is deciding like what is your lighting situation, because our staff are the ones who will go up there and like move the lights, turn them on, that and generally our members give us like their grid and they light up, like they highlight the lights that they're using. But those are things they learn throughout the classes of like what is good lighting, especially with green screen. It's very particular. I will say this: if you come in and you're just using the space and bringing in your own equipment, staff will not get on ladders because we don't have the grid from you. We will just kind of turn the lights on, and then you should bring your own lights. They do that extra work for folks who are certified to use the space.
Wow. Besides the cooking show, what other kinds of shows get shot in the main studio?
So we have a lot of talk shows that happen in this space, a lot of like conversations, educational programs. Like we have a financial literacy program that happens here sometimes called 7-Figure Hustle. We have the People Power Sounds, which I kind of showed was on the monitor, where this whole area is full of lights, and then there's a band or performer in the middle of the stage. We've had dancers. We have a game show where it's like parents guessing like what their kids' answers would be, and the kids answering it's you think you know your family. It's honestly such a wide variety. I will say there's been an uptick recently on different music programs, and each one is so unique, like the type of music that they're approaching and also the way that they're approaching it. Some folks use the green screen, some are having conversations about music, some are performing, but there's been I think there's 4 new shows this year that are specifically about radio or about music in the city.
How many shows, if you can estimate, are produced and broadcast from PhillyCAM? TV shows. I know it's different with radio.
It's a lot.
More than 30, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. it's kind of hard to tell too, because there's so many different ways that members are producing content. So some folks are using, our studios. Some people are going out and recording with the field equipment. Some people use StreamYard, which is a virtual studio, or they'll use Zoom, and they're producing their content from home. And some people I don't know, some people use their phone. It's honestly so cool. So we have a lot, to say the least, of different programs. And members produce either regular shows where they're they have a time slot, or they do specials like a documentary. And so there's no real restraint that way. If you're making something, we want to put it on the channel and share it with everyone.
One of the things that I love about this, when you produce and broadcast a show on public access television, the show, as Gabe was saying earlier, belongs to you. So if you want to put it on your website, if you want to show it on another station, you are entitled to treat that as your own. The copyright belongs to you.
Yeah.
So, pretty special. Wow.
Yeah. And you also don't have to use our equipment and space to create content. If you already have stuff, if you have a show on YouTube, or if you've made films and film festivals or what have you, you can also just use us as a distributor and submit your content here as well. That is also an option.
Wow. Can you believe that all this is possible with the fabulous equipment, the amazing studio, and the awesome tutoring and mentoring by Gabe? That is something that our country has, which is completely wonderful for all the creatives out there who couldn't figure out yet quite how to put their dreams into reality and onto tape and on the air. So I think we're going to have to revisit these spaces soon, and we're going to have to talk about the 24/7 FM station that PhillyCAM also runs, which is wonderful. So, Gabe, thank you so much. That really, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think you covered it. I will say all of this, could be yours. We are a membership organization, so it is $30 for the year, right? And then you have access to those classes and workshops. And we also have special topics that are coming up as well. So check out our website, because those special topics will also be available for non-members too.
Well, we're going to put the URL, which is phillycam.org, up on the last slide. And again, I really want to encourage you, if you're not in the Philadelphia area, well, if you are in the Philadelphia area, please check out PhillyCAM. And if you are elsewhere, you can still check it out, but also see what's available in your community so that you can put your TV and movie dreams into action. Thank you so much for joining us on Producer's Toolbox. We know you came for information, encouragement, and access, and we look forward to seeing what you're going to create with it. So we'll see you next time on Producer's Toolbox. Thank you.